And tonight we'll find out a lot. Welcome to the HP Pavilion in San Jose, California, where if you do the math, you think that the 2-year reign of Nastia Liukin is over. But that may not be what we're here to see. We may be here to see what is her response to a night, the first night, when almost everything went wrong and almost everything went right for a 15-year-old who'll be 16 in the Olympic year. And that's just about perfect. Nastia Liukin will be 18 in the Olympic year, and that is not perfect. Here's Ivana Hong, only 14 years of age, and she has been most impressive. This is Al Trautwig along with Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel. Andrea Joyce patrols the floor. What strikes you about her?
Oh, just absolute impeccable form. She says her best quality is her artistry, and I couldn't agree more.
And one of her other best qualities has been her consistency at just 14 years of age.
This is really cool right here. Nice release skill.
Very different.
Yeah, very, very different. And her foot hit. And
a little problem there.
That, wow. She did the exact same thing just a few moments ago in the one-touch warm-up.
And the difficulty here is that it creates more skills in the routine because she's done what's called a cover-up. So she is going to be really tired towards the end of this routine.
She was flawless in night one and stuck the landing night one. Maybe coming into this competition second, it was shocking. Maybe it was just a little bit too much pressure.
Okay, good job. Okay. It's all right. Smart. It's smart. It's good.
Good fight.
Excellent.
Good fight.
Good practice right there. Okay.
It's all those hard routines at home that make that happen.
Yeah, she did exactly what she did, getting some advice from her coaches Al Fong and Armini Barroutien. She did the exact same cover-up in warm-ups, like I said, just moments before.
Wow, you could actually feel the stress come off the screen. Well, here's Shawn Johnson. How's she going to handle this? How's she going to handle being the person now, the leader after night one?
I don't think you'll see any difference in her gymnastics after the first night. She actually loves being in that position, and so far it's all going very right for her.
It's not easy to start on the beam.
Big, big, big skill right here. Back with a full. Wow.
It's incredible. You know, I don't think it matters where you put her up in the competition because she is so well trained. Now, most of the athletes here are doing 2 workouts a day, a morning, a late afternoon. She practices once a day for 5 hours. That's it.
It's barely a wobble.
Yeah, she looks like she's on the floor.
Now, if there's a place that she's shown any type of struggle while she's been in San Jose, it's on the dismounts. Very difficult. Only one in the competition to do it. A full twisting double right here.
She looks like she's ready for everything.
Now, you know, her coach, Chow, came up to me right before the meet began, and he said, not bad for the first time.
And they're always so happy, always smiling.
Leading is a good thing. Meanwhile, if you look across here at the HP Pavilion in San Jose, you see damage control. Ivana Hong, only 14 years of age. Things did not go well, and she looks bad.
Well, she gets it. She is not happy with her routine. She's a perfectionist. She's only 14, but that just wasn't good enough for her.
Yeah, I like it, actually. It shows that she's a fighter.
Now, Nastia Liukin. Elfie, what do we mean when we say it's not perfect timing for her to be 18 in the Olympic year as opposed to 16?
Well, you know, she's done a lot of gymnastics. She's been out on the international scene a lot longer than Shawn Johnson, and her body has been through so much training and the high level of competition. So she's just wearing down a little bit.
Tim, what do you predict for her?
Well, Al, this is her biggest challenge, the floor exercise with that injured ankle. my. Wow. It was such a huge improvement from night one up until the very end.
She looked really tired going into that last pass.
A lot of storylines here. One is a two-time defending national champion. The other is the World Championships are 2 weeks away, and the team is going to be picked tonight.
She just had nowhere near enough power on this. Barely got it around, and should have opted to not do that front flip at the end of the 2.5.
Her Olympic gold medal winning dad.
You know, they made a number of changes in that floor routine. They had taken a couple of things out. They should have taken that last element out too.
13.75. That is not the beginning of a comeback. Shawn Johnson in a runaway, leading here in San Jose, California, with a 16.1, the first 16 score delivered in this competition so far.
When you're alone in life.
What we just saw here in San Jose, California was startling. Emphatic was Shawn Johnson, the would-be national champion, absolutely sticking it on the balance beam. And then the struggles of the two-time national champion, Nastia Liukin, continuing. Al Trautwig along with Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and of course Andrea Joyce. I think I just need to get your feelings on what just transpired here in the first rotation, Tim.
Well, like you said, Shawn Johnson, she was phenomenal. Better than she was day one. You just don't teach that. She was born with that. Nastia Liukin, she came in, made a whole bunch of changes to her program, just didn't have the endurance at the end.
What did you see, Elfie?
Well, same thing, obviously, with Shawn Johnson. I mean, she's just coming in, and it's like, ha-ha, ho-hum, do what she always does. But for Nastia, you know, I feel badly because she really didn't have a lot of preparation time. I mean, 3 weeks isn't a lot, and I think it was a lot for her coach to ask her to come in and do 4 events. The endurance isn't there, and she's just going to have to go back and revisit her gymnastics and figure out what is going to work down the road.
Now you're looking at Nastia Liukin warming up on the vault. That did not look like a smooth warm-up.
Not at all. And I tell you, the first 2 events for her right out of the box are her most challenging events. That's hard.
Here's Ivana Hahn. Now, damage control from the coaches. She was, at least visibly, a little bit of a mess.
Well, and how will she bounce back? You know, she's 14 years old. This is, you know, she's a newcomer on the senior stage. And Marta Karolyi, believe me, is watching from across the room, and she's thinking the same thing.
And they have to be thinking, expect the adversity, but then really pay attention with how the gymnast handles it.
Marta Karolyi is the national team coordinator. She basically has the major say on who goes where, who competes at what competitions. And from these nationals, they will choose 7 athletes to compete and be part of a training squad for the World Championships beginning of September.
Besides Shawn Johnson, Ivana has been by far one of the most consistent gymnasts in practice.
And so far, this is just like night one. Like that mistake did not rattle her at all. Does a beautiful dismount sequence, 2 back handsprings to a double pike.
No.
Oh.
She didn't even stop to talk to her coach.
Wow.
Really makes you wonder, how would you play it? Would you be there right away? Would you talk? Would you say nothing?
And I have to say, though, that I don't think that this error was any kind of a choke at all. This just happened. This was just a mistake because it's beautiful.
Well, and the interior of the routine was absolutely beautiful. There wasn't any mistake at all.
One of the things you tell your athletes constantly is if you hit the ground and your arms are still holding onto your legs, that's what happens. You got to get your hands off and prepared for the landing. She just didn't.
I tell you what, she didn't get hammered. I I mean, a 14.5. I mean, it's obviously not great and they're dealing with it, but it's not an awful score. Now, Shawn Johnson, the leader, and it's a runaway. And she just keeps smiling her way through. No hiccup.
She's so relaxed, so poised, and really the most important thing, she's just having a blast.
You know, Shawn said that I've watched this, what's happening to me, happen to other people like Nastia and Carly Patterson. I just can't believe that it's actually happening to me.
You know what? She has never performed in front of this many people in the United States of America with the TV camera right over her shoulder and everybody watching every move, and she's getting through it without a problem. 15.35. When we come back to the HP Pavilion in San Jose, California, Nastia Liukin will be on the vault. And we'll get a chance to see whether the two-time American champion can turn her championship around. Back in San Jose, California, dreams are so important and they're so fragile. Just ask a judge here, Christy Phillips, the 1987 U.S. national champion. From the front cover of Sports Illustrated, she doesn't even make the Olympic team the very next year, and that's how it went. Now, you look at someone like Nastia Liukin and you look at the clock and you say, okay, next year she's going to be 18. That's the Olympics. Things are not going well for her. What do you see?
Oh, I don't see that same path for Nastia Liukin. Yes, she has had a very rough year, but a lot of injuries, and she's going to come back from those injuries. I don't think she's going to suffer the same fate.
Here on the vault, where she fell, as we saw in warm-up.
This is hard for her. Better than night one, but still a huge squat on the landing and stepping off to the side.
And you know, you have to remember that this was the one event where her dad even said, we haven't had a lot of training time. It's just been a few weeks since the Pan American Games, and she just started training the pounding events like vault and floor exercise.
Saw her dad, Valeri. He didn't even have a word to say. She steps out of bounds, and it's almost like this camp is resigned to just somehow getting through this.
Well, the one thing that does get someone like Nastia through a night like this is she knows, and I firmly believe, that a healthy Nastia Liukin not only can be national champion again, but Olympic and world champion.
This is Alicia Sacramone. She's a proven commodity on the international scene. Night one, floor exercise, things did not go well. And it was not a good night overall, the first night of competition. And this is someone who's trying to earn a spot on the team that will represent the United States in the World Championships in early September in Stuttgart, Germany. She, a few moments ago, was on the balance beam did well, and it looked as though it just absolutely boosted her confidence to a new level. Whether that translates to here is anybody's guess. This looks like a different kid.
Yeah, different Alicia for sure.
Alicia Sacramone lights up the room. And these two have a sometimes contentious relationship.
Oh, but he's happy with her tonight. She knows exactly what her strengths are, and that will be a routine that will be very hard to beat.
You know, she went to Brown University this year. She struggled balancing the academics with the gymnastics. I'm sure after night one, she was doubting it. Marta Caroli, the national coordinator, was thinking it was too much. Not today.
Now, at the moment, because Shawn Johnson has been so good, this is not about the U.S. National Championship anymore. This is about the other stories, like trying to make the World Championship team, which Shayla Worley is trying to do.
Yeah, and Shayla Worley has definitely impressed us here at the championships. She is ready and making a statement that she wants to be on that World Championship team.
Her coach, Jeff Wood. This young lady has a lot of personality. She says, I'm not going to be just like anybody else. Nobody notices you when you're like everybody else. This is the one place, though, where Shayla struggles a little bit. She knows it. Her form isn't as good as it could be, but everywhere else she has been fantastic.
A 14.45 with Bella Caroli and Mary Lou Retton watching from the front row. Meanwhile, Alicia Sacramone puts up a 15.75 on the floor, and that gets everybody's attention here at the HP Pavilion. Back after this. When we come back, more of Shawn Johnson. San Jose, California, and you're looking at the runaway leader in the 2007 Visa Championships. Now you just want to see how she puts these pieces in place, because these, after all, are the performances which become building blocks to great performances in an Olympics and a World Championship.
And this right here is an absolute walk in the park for Shawn Johnson. She's so powerful, so dynamic. She gets through this one, then she has one left.
Beautiful, explosive. You know, if she's going to improve in any little area, obviously, she just needs to stick it.
And she's capable of doing a harder vault. Actually, Chow misled me. He said night one she'd do this one, and then in the finals, he said she's going to do the 2.5. No one's ever done that in the U.S. before.
How about pulling off a vault with Bella Caroli and Mary Lou Retton watching, as we mentioned a moment ago.
Near 23 years ago, Mary Lou ran down a vaulting runway, kind of like that.
And she stuck it.
Yes, she did.
For a perfect 10 that we think we'll never see again. Now 15.15. Difficulty and execution combined for the new numbers. Loving the numbers that she got on the floor a few minutes ago was Alicia Sacramone. She is not going to compete in all 4 events, so this will be her final performance here tonight.
And this is where she helps Team USA the most. Super dynamic handspring front with 1.5. Oh.
She didn't stick it, but she sells it.
Wow, it's explosive.
And because it's so difficult, she goes again.
Just flip the hips up.
That easy, just flick those hips up. But this vault that she just did, it's ginormous. This is huge. She gets giant air, 1.5 twists. It's a great vault. And at these national championships, you're crowning an all-around champion, but also individual event champions. And to be considered for that on vaulting, you have to do 2 different vaults, just like she'll have to do if she makes the world team to win a world medal or an Olympic medal on an individual event.
Wow, a curtain call. Alicia Sacramone is feeling it.
Couldn't be more different than the first day of competition. She went 3 for 3 and was darn near perfect.
Now, Nastia Liukin has 2 chances to save her night. First one comes right now on the uneven bars.
And of course, we know that this is her best event, probably the hardest bar routine in the world. After she fell on night 1, she was back in the gym, and guess what? Doing a new dismount.
Gets really tricky right here. 4.5 turn into a big release. She flies high. She has a beautiful line.
Perfect toe point.
She goes from that high bar to the low bar. It's like whee, just like on a playground playing. It's awesome. So here comes the new dismount. She added a half turn right here.
Why didn't she do that night 1?
That is what champions do.
Just amazing. She made it look so easy. I couldn't believe it in practice when I watched her do this. All I could think of is, why didn't you do this the first day?
Well, actually, she has been protecting that ankle. When you do a half turn, when you come in backwards, it's a little bit more force on the ankle. They were trying to protect it, but they made the right choice there.
Crowd reacting to the biggest score that we have seen from anyone on any of the apparatus, 16.2. Nastia Liukin is thinking of finishing solidly in the top 5 now, which would be remarkable for how she started. To Shayla Worley. How was this event for her?
It's a great event, but, you know, it sounds like we're always talking about injuries. Shayla has also been out for nearly a year. Had a hamstring injury and then a torn muscle. It's been a long, long road for her.
And she has 3 huge release moves. There was one. There's the other. But I've been impressed by how she's come back, not just on the competition floor, but in practice. She's been doing numbers after numbers.
Third major release. Now, ironically, she actually does the same dismount Nastia fell on night 1, a double front, blind landing. Perfect.
You get the feeling that there are certain gymnasts here who are cementing their status. Alicia Sacramone, Shayla Worley, Nastia Liukin.
Hey, like that is not. Yeah.
She has got some moxie, I tell you.
Wouldn't you say the same thing about Ivana Hong?
Yes, I would. And she has a big challenge in front of her. But, you know, she said her favorite thing about gymnastics is it challenges me to do my best under tremendous pressure. And that's what we got right here, right now.
Was very cool.
Well, that will give her reason to go up and talk to her coaches because she'll be extremely happy with this routine. That's a great comeback.
One more event for Ivana to go. Nice score for Shayla Worley, and there's a definite positive momentum building as we head to the last event here in California. Back in San Jose, it will not be a third straight national championship for Nastia Liukin, but what she did on the uneven bars a few minutes ago got everybody's attention as she battles back from her ankle injury. As much attention has been paid to Shawn Johnson for as dominating a performance to build up a 3.9-point lead heading into the final rotation. Now, along the way, there are many stories. One for Alicia Sacramone, to be sure, as she tonight has cemented her status for the upcoming World Championships. Let's go to Andrea Joyce.
Well, Alicia looks like a completely different person tonight from day one. So much happier. What did you tell yourself to be able to bounce back so well tonight?
Yeah, I was really supportive, and he was telling me that, you know, you need to forget about it and keep working. It doesn't matter. It's over. You have to, there's another day, and we're lucky that this meets a two-day competition, because if you do happen to have that mistake, you have a chance to prove yourself to everybody else. You can come back and show them what you really can do.
How important is it for you to finish this meet strong like you did, considering that the Worlds are just 2 weeks away?
I mean, it was really important because after my performance on day one, everyone was just like, what happened? And I needed to prove that I was ready. I am in shape, and I'm ready to compete and hopefully represent the team in Worlds.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
In the world of USA Gymnastics, Alicia Sacramone is very, very popular, and that can be said also of Shawn Johnson. This will be her last event in crowning her as the new national champion.
And onward and upward to bigger and better things. She will be, like you said, the national champion. In a couple of weeks, could easily be world champion. She doesn't do the hardest bar routine, but she certainly does the hardest bar dismount. Double twisting double.
That's it. It's official.
You know, Tim and I, we often hear the athletes say, all I want to do is hit 8 for 8. Well, that's what it means. She's had 2 days of competition, 8 routines done perfectly.
And you know, every single one of these kids, they dream of going to the Olympic Games, and they also dream of being Olympic all-around champion. You ask them about that, most of them dance around it. She says, I don't think there's anything wrong. I want to be Olympic all-around champion. Could very well happen.
Alicia Sacramone just called Shawn sweetie. All right, here's Nastia Liukin looking to end her night the way she did a few minutes ago on the uneven bars, triumphantly.
And she can do that. She can end on such a high note right here. She's made changes throughout the competition. She has one small change that she's made on her dismount here as well.
You know, she told us that she doesn't like to focus only on the Olympic Games, but this year, she says, it's been very, very difficult. And ironically, she says, just thinking about all the time, the 15 years I've put into it, and that the Olympics are only 1 year away, that is what's gotten her through.
She also says that her mother has been a really big help. She was the '87 world champion in rhythmic gymnastics, missed the '88 Olympic Games because of an illness. And she said, Nastia, you never want to look back and think what could have happened. You need to go for it.
So in the first night, she did a triple twist dismount and did not complete it, stumbled forward. We've seen her warm up just a 2.5, but still very challenging.
That's a world champion.
You know, I think halfway through tonight, if she shut it down, no one would have thought that's crazy. But she didn't.
And moments like that, that is why Nastia Liukin is a champion.
And she reminds us how she got there, as Shawn Johnson shows us what leads her to her first national championship. And oh boy, to get that ankle tape off, that's got to feel awesome. Back to San Jose after this.
When you're
We've been treated to some fabulous gymnastics from Alicia Sacramone and Shawn Johnson there, getting a 15.3 for her final performance. Nastia Liukin really coming through on the balance beam and the uneven bars. And she finishes in impressive style. And we'll begin now with our final performance for Shayla Worley on the balance beam.
And actually, this was her first event of these championships in day one, and her only major mistake. It occurred on very difficult Arabian skill.
Her routine is really packed with difficulty. She has quite a different style, very similar, however, in artistry to Nastia Liukin, but she has some really wild skills.
Comes off right at the top right here. She'll do a jump half turn, front flip. Little bit under rotated, but obviously a much better result.
Do you have any doubt that she's going to the World Championships?
Absolutely none. Absolutely none.
Today in the sport, you see the two different scores, and the final score, one is the difficulty, the other is how well they perform skills like this. But where Shayla really excels is in the artistry. She gets high execution scores, and the international judges really love that.
And her coach, Jeff Wood, told me that they turned down the opportunity to compete at the Pan American Games. Thought it would inhibit her training.
Where is Jeff?
Well, he typically doesn't watch balance beam. He hides behind the curtains. She's had a great competition.
Well, she'll go from California to Houston for a training camp, and then pack your bags, girl. You're going to Stuttgart.
Okay, I know. I was high and then I kicked out.
All right, stay on.
The analysis to the bitter end. One final performance. Do you have any doubt that Ivana Hung is going to the World Championships?
No, I don't. I can't imagine them not taking her. She has shown a lot of character. Day one, she was incredible. Day 2, she started off with those 2 falls, came back strongly, and this event
straight down the line.
He's an air traffic controller, as you can see, in his part-time, straight down the line. Exactly. That was what Coach Alfong was trying to will Ivana Hong to do. But she's going. She's valuable to Team USA in a lot of places, especially here on vault.
Not her best.
No, not her best. And as Al was trying to say, you got to go straight.
Good for making it. Just hang on, hang on. Good for
Oh,
making
she's
it.
feisty.
Just gotta make sure you get straight.
Final number 15.75. Shayla Worley on the balance beam, solid to the end. Meanwhile, Shawn Johnson just noticed something, didn't you?
Yeah, on her leotard, I think she's got Chinese characters. Yeah, right there. Of course, her coach Chow and Lee, both Chinese, and what's that called? The Road to Beijing.
So the final standings tell us that Shawn Johnson wins by 3.45, and Nastia Liukin battles back to finish on the podium. Let's go down to the floor and Andrea Joyce.
Well, Shawn told us that she does a lot of visualization, but did you ever imagine or see yourself winning this competition in such a dominant way?
Never. I mean, I just came in here, wanted to have fun, of course, and just wanting to do what I do at home and just practice and hit my routines, and I did. I never imagined this. And
You had to walk right past Mary Lou Retton right after your vault. What was going through your mind?
oh my gosh, it's Mary Lou. But I don't know, it's such an honor to see her and have her be here. And
You've been compared to her, and you've been compared to Kim Zmeskal, and you've won everything you could possibly win in your first year as a senior. Pretty heady stuff. What's it like to be you right now?
great, but kind of like dreamlike. I mean, I still can't believe that I've gone to American Cup, Pan Ams, and now Visa Championships, and I've won, and it's just, it's all a dream, so.
Well, somebody's going to pinch you pretty soon and let you know that it's all real. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Obviously a special kid who understands this special time in which she is living, and fully understanding that Beijing 2008 is now less than a year away.